何も映ってないんじゃない？
You know what there's not enough of? Versus movies. They thrive in the comic book world, but when it comes to films, there's just too many challenges and legal bullshit that prevent it from happening too often.
There's been Freddy vs. Jason, Alien vs. Predator, Frankenstein vs. the Wolfman, Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys, pretty much the entire Godzilla series, Ginger Dead Man vs. Evil Bong. Wait, what? But one that surprisingly flies under the radar is Sadako vs. Kayako. For anyone not in the know, Sadako is the vengeful spirit antagonist of the Ring series, whereas Kayako is the vengeful spirit main villain of the Ju-on or Grudge franchise. It's a big deal. This is like the Freddy vs. Jason of Japan. They're both massive, well-established franchises with a ton of films between them and are often compared to one another. It was initially revealed as an April Fool's joke, but when people got excited by the idea, it was eventually put into production. This is a super interesting concept because most of the Versus movies involved physical monsters that would duke it out, but Sadako and Kayako are spirits, and their methods of killing people are very abstract, so their respective powers colliding would be difficult to pull off, but if they did a good job, it would be undeniably thrilling as well as scary.
So you have two ghosts with very specific ways of summoning them. How do they fight each other across a whole movie? They don't. They just don't fight.
The plot involves a girl who watches the infamous tape to summon Sadako. They discover the way to remove her curse is to pit her up against another vengeful spirit so that they will both cancel each other out and kill each other. That takes up maybe the first 30 to 40 minutes before the first big square off, right? Nope, that's the entire movie, stretched as thinly as you can imagine. Most of the film is shockingly boring, and each of the titular monsters is barely in their own showcase movie. We get so much build up to the point you're basically screaming for the film to give you what you came for. We get one kind of good scene of Toshio taking out a group of boys, and then a massive amount of time devoted to Sadako as the bland main characters try to work out how to remove her curse. The film feels really cheap. The effects and production are just so poorly executed. The scary scenes come across more comical than frightening because they're so awkwardly implemented. Also, I hate to be that guy, but Toshio's cat noises were always annoying and fake rather than frightening to me. When I see him pop up and do that tongue thing, it just makes me roll my eyes.
The film doesn't contain any of the spirit or style of the original franchises it spawned from. It's a boring looking film, an uninteresting story, and doesn't show us nearly enough of the featured attractions.
Hell, Kayako in her full Grudge form doesn't even show up until 75 minutes into the movie. Up till then, it's basically just Sadako and Toshio doing everything in their scant few scenes. You hear her death rattle and see her hair, but other than that, she's only in a single big scene 5 minutes before the final showdown. And yes, they do technically fight, but it's a huge letdown. It's insanely slow paced, and lasts at most around 40 seconds. Each takes one turn doing something to the other, and then that's it. It's such a shame, because the face-off is actually really good. Sadako grabs Toshio and pulls him into the TV, then emerges while Kayako comes down the stairs. Then they both mostly stay still and don't do much.
It falls under the same trappings as Batman vs Superman, where the whole movie just builds up one clash between two characters and then delivers a short, slow-paced brawl that leaves you unsatisfied.
Take Freddy vs Jason, an almost perfect Versus movie. We not only get to see each of them doing what they're known for, with Jason slashing people apart and Freddy getting freaky in some dreams, but we see them fight constantly throughout the movie. We get to see them scrap in Freddy's realm where he's more powerful, then at Camp Crystal Lake where Jason is. Then the climax has them rip each other apart to a stalemate. Plus, both of them complement each other for a thrilling fight. Freddy is smaller, with multiple little knives, can talk, and was burnt to death in fire. Jason is a tank, with a big old single blade, he is mute, and he died via drowning. Freddy also has supernatural abilities that make him a powerful enemy and unbeatable in his dream world, but in the real world, he's just a mortal man. Whereas Jason is basically an immortal zombie in the real world, but becomes powerless in Freddy's realm. It kicks ass. Same with Alien and Predator. One's a more muscular powerhouse that relies on gadgets as a one-man army, the Alien is a more nimble speedster with natural weaponry that comes in a horde. Superman and Batman, one's an all-powerful god who relies on brute strength but with limited actual fighting skills, the other is a weaker but smarter foe primed for tactical battle. Here, Both these monsters are too similar. There just isn't much to do with them. The only thing I can think of is just have them duke it out. Flying around the Grudge House where Kayako kicks some ass. Then maybe take a trip to Sadako's realm where she delivers her own beatdown before a final showdown on neutral turf. It's nothing amazing, but it's better than anything in this film. Sadako vs Kayako was a big disappointment to me. The versus part of its title is dubious, and it feels like not enough love and care was given to bring together each franchise for a swinging celebration.
Honestly, I'd only recommend it if you're a die-hard fan of the franchises, or if you'd like to see an example of a versus film done horribly wrong.